scene, upon the arrival of the third astronaut, we can observe how his right foot seemingly becomes entangled with one of the cables that supports him. Subsequently, we then see the same astronaut attempting to adjust the cable that is currently entangled around his foot using his right hand. He also reaches his hand behind him and tries to adjust his harness. Feeling quite uncomfortable, he adjusts his suit to rectify the mistake. His partner, seeing this, joins him in adjusting his own. After their greeting to Sirs was concluded, they appear quite uncomfortable and awkward about leaving, with one astronaut completely tangled up in his harness. His companions leave without even trying to offer him any help. Until the very last moment, the astronaut on the right struggles to untangle himself without being able to accomplish it.
Let's talk about airplanes, flights, and how they actually help prove the flat Earth. We're told the Earth spins really fast, about 1,600 kilometers per hour at the equator. But here's the question. If an airplane is flying east at just 800 kilometers per hour, how does it ever catch up to the ground that's supposedly spinning twice as fast? And what about landing? How can a flight safely land on a runway that's moving at 1,600 kilometers per hour underneath it? That sounds impossible. They say the atmosphere moves with the Earth because of gravity, like it's stuck on with Velcro. But above the clouds, there's just empty space. Does that really make sense? Now think about this. If Earth is really round and curving, every airplane would have to constantly tilt its nose down just to stay close to the ground. At regular speed, a plane would need to dip about 850 meters every minute, or it would start flying way off into the sky like 50,000 meters high in just 1 hour. But here's the thing, pilots don't do that. Once a flight reaches cruising altitude, the plane stays level. It doesn't dip, it doesn't curve, it just flies straight. That's a big clue. If the Earth was really spinning and curving, wouldn't every airplane have to adjust constantly? But they don't. Flights are smooth, level, and straight, just like the surface of a flat Earth. So next time you fly, look out the window and ask yourself, are we really on a spinning ball? Or are airplanes quietly proving the flat Earth every single day?
Stanley Kubrick filmed the moon landings, and he tells us clear as day in the film The Shining. Now, this is an age-old topic people have debated for decades, so let's talk about it. In the film, little Danny is playing on a carpet with a unique set of patterns, which closely resemble NASA's launch pad for the Apollo missions. Okay, probably just coincidence, but suddenly out of nowhere, the Overlook Hotel rolls a tennis ball. And then Danny stands up, and the answer is revealed in an instant. Danny's wearing a sweater with a rocket that says Apollo 11. Now, the audience watching the film is literally seeing a symbolic launch of the Apollo 11 as Danny rises from the floor. So Danny, in his Apollo 11 sweatshirt, is then heading to the room 237, the very room he was warned about. Now, in the original book, the room is 217, but Kubrick changed it to 237 because the moon, as we are told, is 237,000 miles away. Now, a funny story, or Toy Story, Woody and Buzz come into references with The Shining. You can see it here on the carpet. It's the same thing we saw earlier, and this was done on purpose. Then there's a reference to 237 when using the computer, another one on the license plate of this garbage truck, and another on the camera of the daycare center. And it even says Overlook, the hotel where The Shining took place. Now, here's a photograph you don't see often. In 1966, Kubrick is seen meeting with NASA officials and employees as well as Arthur C. Clarke. Pretty damning photograph. Just 3 years before the first moon landing, Kubrick happens to be running with NASA, and a well-known author of sci-fi books and the man who helped him create 2001: A Space Odyssey, a #1 box office hit for mental conditioning of the masses. And then, what do you know, 1 year later, the first Apollo mission takes place. You know, at some point, you have to see the signs for what they are, being more than just mere coincidence. And of course, with Disney, you do enough research and you'll find out that Walt Disney was a Freemason, a dark occultist obsessed with magic, and deeply connected with NASA to help propagate the idea of space travel to the masses. You have Nazi scientist Wernher von Braun, lead rocket engineer of NASA, thanks to Operation Paperclip, and the world's greatest animator of his era. But we'll get more into that next time. It's pretty clear that NASA, Hollywood, and Disney are all interconnected, so before you fall for the fake Stanley Kubrick interviews and behind the scenes footage, understand Kubrick has been seen with NASA officials before the movie, during the movie, and left plenty of clues in both The Shining and The Odyssey. If you seek the actual truth, you'll find that this was one of the greatest psyops in history.
It seems like I'm floating in front of the Earth, doesn't it? In reality, all of this is a set. We use giant green screens, harnesses that lift me up, and then the computer adds the planet. Look, this is how they film us. And I'm not even an astronaut, I'm an actor. And many of us are as well. So don't believe everything.
Guys, I'm so disgusted. They used the devil's number in the heliocentric model multiple times. 666.66, 66.6. Like, I'm disgusted to find this out. I just found this out. Most of their numbers they use for measurements in the heliocentric globe model, the spinning ball Earth, is 666. They're putting it right in our face. These people are the devil, literally, and they use the devil's number constantly. Share this video. It is disgusting.
Biggest conspiracy theory that freaks everybody out is flat Earth.
But
Plenty
there's
of them.
satellite photographs of Earth from space.
Those are all cartoons.
What are you
Those
talking about?
I'm saying that even the NASA, the guys who actually do those composites, those are composite imagery.
It is photoshopped, but it's has to be.
Let's look at footage from the space station of Earth.
Right there, a little stitching, like right there.
So this would just keep going straight forever.
Do you see that line?
Yeah,
do you
that
see
line.
that line right there? What is that?
What is that line?
Yeah, what is that line? Well, that looks like stitching to me. It looks like they've stitched together and it crosses over there through that mountain range right there.
That is weird, whatever that is. But
So by your very example, I'm just saying that you have to have a certain amount of faith in that. And on the surface, mundus vult decepi.
Okay. You're freaking me out. Go back to that, Jamie. So what is the explanation? Go back a little bit.
Yeah, what is the explanation of that line right there?
Right, but how weird is that? That is weird that there's this line.
Right, because
very
that
clear.
in itself is a composite image, a cartoon that has been put together for you to look at this apparent live imagery.
This live video feed from the International Space Station has
Been interrupted because you're watching too much.
due to either a change in the onboard camera configuration or loss of signal with the communications network. The video will return when the connection is reestablished. So this is during the live feed.
Whenever they're up there shooting with cameras outside, you're like, oh, there's the
do you know how many people-
there's the curvature, and then every now and then the camera turns and it inverts for a moment, then it goes back down.
I've never seen that.
I watch a lot of NASA stuff. The way laser sighting across large bodies of water or navigation maps for air travel and for pilots is always a presumption of a flat Earth. It's always in the pilot manuals.
It's got about 18 million cracks in it. And the light is shining through like never before, filling us all with the hope and the sure knowledge that the path will be a little easier next time. I know we have still not shattered that highest and hardest glass ceiling, but someday someone will, and hopefully sooner than we might think right now.